Narcissists can't handle it when you do this, the truth they won't admit. Let me hit you with a cold truth, the narcissist in your life. They never, not for 1 second, thought life would hit them this hard without you. You were the centerpiece. You were the constant, the thing that kept their world from completely falling apart. And now they're watching everything crumble, and they're freaking out. They don't know how to handle it. They never imagined a world where you walked away, where you weren't there to feed their endless hunger for validation, attention, control. But here's the kicker. They didn't just lose you. No, they lost the very thing that kept their house from falling down. The thing that was holding together a foundation made of lies, manipulation, and insecurity. Now they're scrambling, and they're coming for you. But if you're not serious about this, if you're not willing to stand firm and make them realize you're done, this won't work. They'll just keep coming back for more, feeding off your energy, your time, your emotional well-being. But if you're serious, if you mean it when you say you're done, that's when things change, and I'm about to show you exactly why. 1. The narcissist's fragile foundation. Let's start here. Picture this. The narcissist is like a house, but not just any house. A house built on a foundation so shaky, so unstable, that the first gust of wind could bring it down. And that wind, that's you walking out. They'd spent their entire lives trying to fill this bottomless pit inside them. They reach for anything they can get their hands on. Attention, admiration, control, power. They patch up the holes with fake smiles, with shallow conversations, with grand gestures. Anything to keep people around, to keep their world in place. But underneath all that, nothing. An empty, hollow core. And you, being the one who actually cared about them, being the one who invested time and energy into their lives. You were the only thing that held that house together, whether they realized it or not. They never thought you'd walk away. They thought they could keep you right where they wanted you. But when you leave, that fragile house, it's crumbling, and they have no idea how to rebuild it. 2. The illusion of control. Here's the thing about narcissists. In their world, you were never just someone they loved. You were a fixture, a permanent fixture. They thought they owned you like a priceless painting they could hang on the wall and admire whenever they felt like it. Your role in their life, oh, it was predictable, controllable, completely theirs. That's what they believed, and they worked hard to make you believe it too. They played the games, they manipulated the emotions, they threw around just enough crumbs of affection to make you think you were special to them. But it was all a house of cards, my friend. One flick of the wrist, and the whole thing tumbles down. So when you walked away, oh, that was the moment that shattered their illusion. The moment they realized they didn't control you, not nearly as much as they thought. They thought they had you wrapped up tight, that you were never going anywhere. But guess what? You did. And that's when the cracks start showing. The illusion was never real. They just wanted to believe it was. But now that you've left, the mask is slipping, and there's no going back. 3. The shock of loss. Let me ask you a question. What happens when the narcissist loses you? It's not just a heartbreak. It's not some, oh, I'll move on and be fine situation. No, for them, it's a collapse. A complete, utter meltdown. They didn't just lose a partner. They didn't just lose a supply. They lost the thing that held their fragile little universe together. You were their validation. You were the one who made them feel bigger than they actually are, who filled that insatiable hole in them, even if you never knew it. And now they're faced with the wreckage of a life they've spent years building on lies and manipulation. The world they built around you, it's crumbling, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. They didn't prepare for this, and they can't handle it. Don't believe me? Ask any narcissist who's been left behind. They'll tell you, it's not just the loss of love. It's the destruction of everything they thought they had. Everything they thought they controlled. When you walk away, you're not just leaving. You're wiping out their entire existence. And that, my friend, is a lot harder to bounce back from than they'll ever admit. 4. The new supply. Now, here's where the real games begin. You think they're going to sit there, sulking and crying in a corner. Nah, they'll find someone else. The new supply, the person they can use to fill the void. But here's a dirty little secret. That new supply isn't a soulmate. It's not someone they're truly connected to. No. That new person is nothing more than a bandage. A quick fix to stop the bleeding. Because, let's face it, that emptiness inside them, it's still there. They might try to convince you they've moved on, post a couple of selfies, brag about the new love in their life. But deep down they know. They know that new person is just a temporary distraction. They'll never be able to fill the hole you left. The truth, the narcissist is still bleeding out. They'll keep trying to find something or someone to patch it up. But nothing ever really works. Because once you've walked away, you've left a wound that no one else can heal. And that's the part they'll never tell you. No matter who they replace you with, it's not the same. It'll never be the same. And you'll keep living your life while they're stuck searching for something that will never fill the void. 5. The illusion of healing. Here's the thing. Narcissists don't heal. They don't grow, they scheme. You might see them putting on that act, showing the world how strong they are now, how over it they are. They'll drop a few motivational quotes, maybe hit the gym, or pretend to be too busy for anyone. But trust me, they're not healing. They're not evolving. They're just building a new facade. Because that's all they've ever known how to do. Pretend. Here's the truth. A narcissist's healing is nothing more than a charade. They're trapped in a never-ending cycle of emotional manipulation, making themselves feel important by seeking out new sources of validation. And the second they stop scheming, they start crumbling again. They can't ever truly face their demons because if they did, they'd have to acknowledge the emptiness that's been with them all along. You see, they've been broken for so long, they don't even know what it means to heal. They don't understand growth. They understand control, ego boosts, and being admired. And when that's your only fix, healing is a word you just throw around. It's never something you actually achieve. So don't buy into their little "I'm doing great" act. They're not. They're just reloading for the next emotional battle, because that's all they know how to do. 6. The bottomless void. You want to know what's really going on beneath all that surface-level confidence. The narcissist's life isn't just about attention. It's about filling the void. And that void, it's bottomless. They need constant validation, constant supply. And the second you walked away, they didn't just miss you. They felt the vacuum. That emptiness. It wasn't something they could hide anymore. Now they're on a desperate hunt. They need not one, but 2, maybe even 3 people to piece together the same fix. The same hit of attention you once provided. They'll bounce from person to person, searching for that feeling of importance. But guess what? It's never enough. They're like a drug addict looking for their next high, the high they got from you. They can't recreate it. The new supply, it's like a cheap knockoff that doesn't even come close to the original. And deep down they know it, but they can't stop. Because to admit that nothing will ever fill the hole you left is too much for their fragile ego to handle. So they keep looking, keep chasing, keep begging for scraps, hoping something, anything, will work. But here's the cold truth. They're never going to find what they had with you. And that realization, it eats away at them, no matter how much they try to hide it. 7. The desperate hoovering. And then there's the hoovering. Oh, the hoovering. It's like clockwork. You leave, and they can't let go. They start blowing up your phone, sliding into your DMs with those half-assed, "I've been thinking about you" texts. It's not even subtle. It's desperate. But here's the thing you have to remember. They're not reaching out because they miss you. They're reaching out because they need you to fill that void. They need you back to boost their fragile ego, to validate their existence. It's not love. It's an ego-fueled vacuum sucking up every bit of your attention. They need it to keep going. So when you get that message, that "I miss you" text, don't get fooled. It's not about you. It's about them. It's about making sure they're not left empty. It's a tactic. It's a manipulation. And here's where you need to be cold. You need to be firm. No response. Nothing. You've already walked away. Don't let them drag you back into their toxic world. Because that's exactly what they want. They want to drag you back in, so they can play their little games all over again. It's a cycle. A game. But you don't have to play. Not anymore. The only thing they fear more than losing control of you is you finally realizing you're worth more than the scraps they're offering. 8. The unraveling. Oh, this is where the fun starts. The cracks start showing. You've seen it, haven't you? The narcissist who used to strut around like they owned the damn world, like they were untouchable. They had that shiny, flawless persona. The one that made everyone believe they were king or queen of the universe. You bought into it, didn't you? Hell, you all did. But what happens when the world starts crumbling? What happens when their grand illusion begins to peel away like cheap paint on a house? It's like a slow-motion train wreck. The polished, perfect image they put out, it starts to fray at the edges. The smiles, they're no longer as convincing. The power, it starts slipping through their fingers. They can't keep it up forever. And that's when the cracks show. The person who once acted like royalty starts looking, well, human, vulnerable, desperate. It's all a facade, and once it's been shattered, they have nothing left to hide behind. What's worse, they know it. Deep down, they know they're losing. They know that every attempt to keep up the act is just a band-aid over a gaping wound. And that's when they really start to unravel. They've been holding it together with smoke and mirrors, but the real them, it's catching up, and it's ugly. 9. The masked act. Now, here's the final act of this tragic play they're putting on. You know it's coming. The narcissist, who's been spinning a web of lies, pretending like everything's fine, is now suddenly posting those glossy, perfect selfies. You know the ones that make it look like they're living their best life. The new relationship, the undoing amazing routine. They're trying to sell you a picture-perfect life, one that's completely fake. But here's the thing you need to understand. It's all for you. They're not doing this for themselves. They're not doing this because they're genuinely happy. They're doing this to grab your attention, to make you think they're fine, to make you think, hey, they moved on. Look at how great they're doing. But the second you see through the smoke and mirrors, you realize it's a performance. It's all an act. Because deep down, they're not happy. They're just trying to convince you they are. They need you to see it. They want you to feel like they're thriving without you. Here's the brutal truth. They're not thriving. They're acting. Every flashy picture, every post, every look at me moment is nothing more than a desperate attempt to get your attention back. They're hoping you look, feel a pang of regret, and maybe even crawl back into their toxic world. But here's the thing you need to keep in mind. You know the truth now. You see the cracks. You see the desperation behind the mask, and you've got to keep walking away, because once you break free, there's no reason to fall for the show again. That's their game. Don't play it. So here's the bottom line, my friend. Narcissists live in a world built on lies, manipulation, and fragile illusions. You were their validation, their control, their everything. And the second you walked away, it's like their whole house of cards came crashing down. A scramble to fill the void, hoovering you back in, pretending they've moved on with their new supply, posting flashy selfies and acting like they're living their best life. But here's the truth they'll never admit. They're not healing. They're not growing. They're just lost in a never-ending chase for attention and validation. They're stuck in a cycle that will never end. But you've got the power to break free. You've seen through their act. You're done with the games, and the only way they can get under your skin again is if you let them. So if you're serious about leaving the narcissist behind for good, stay firm, keep walking, and don't let them drag you back into their toxic world. If this hit home for you, don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, drop a comment below, and check out more of our videos. Stay strong, and don't let anyone dim your light.